Thank you.
Good.
Hello, 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 hello. Yes, we are live. Welcome to Britain's Hidden History, number 69. Wow,
Woo.
take it away, Aunt. And don't hide by my head. Right. Can you hear me loud and clear? I hope so. Caricature of Arnie. Yeah, I should have a caricature of Arnie. Job for next week, you're quite right. And David Mosley, first online this time. Wow, wow, wow. Well done. Gavin Lloyd, evening all. Evening Hugh. Evening Suzanne. First trivia question, which I'm sure you all get, is this is Seo Garn, old Welsh song, very old. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of years old. Maybe one of the world's oldest lullabies. So which filmmaker took this song and used it as a theme tune for which film, and what is the Welsh connection? Alright?
I know the film. I don't know the Welsh connection.
Ah, Arnie knows. There we go. Good.
I don't know the director.
Hello, Patricia. You don't know the director? Oh, my goodness.
Well, I know the Welsh connection.
Thank you, Arnie. That was very nice. That was very nice. Thank you very much. And, wow, busy day today. And I'll just let you know now. We got to whiz this into 1 hour, okay? I don't say it every week. It's going to be 1 hour. It's going to be 1 hour. I just watched an old... a video I did, one of these live ones for like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so when we started. I was looking at Who Are the English. Worth watching again. I was going to re-record it. I thought, no, it's not that bad. It's a bit rough in places, but hey. And I realised, even then I was saying I've got to get the shows down to an hour, okay? Well, I have to, because first day of school tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, the holidays are over. How could that possibly happen? How can that happen? Where did all that time go? And all that time off with the lockdowns as well. My goodness. It all seems to have flown by. Anyway, sorry to read about Patricia. I thought things were getting better with the Canadian fires. I'm sorry to hear about that. Oh my goodness, contest goes on. Anyway, I'll let you all have your chat online. As you've seen on the card, tonight's a bit of a Roman special. We're going to be talking about these sort of guys. Oh, this takes me back to when I used to do my wargaming videos. That's my hand behind so you can actually see something.
Those guys who brought us this type of stuff.
Did the Romans invent pizza? I don't know. There's a bit of a what to the Romans. Empire of the Sun. Andrew Whelan's got the name of the film correct.
I know the Welsh connection.
No, we can't, no. Come on, we got Empire of the Sun. Was the name of the film was Hot Nights in Hamburg. And the director's sister-in-law's Kamal Gaveni. I like the imaginative answer, Charles John. And if you want to send me the YouTube link for a Hot Nights in Hamburg, I'm well up for watching it, okay? And which reminds me, I do have to sing my my special song that I used to do with the guitar. Used to be a real showstopper, which is I've Never Been to Pontypridd, which I will be doing next week.
Never been to Pontypridd.
Never been to Pontypridd, yeah, it's a classic. I could sing at the end of this one, but I haven't got the guitar music with me. And I'm all jazzed up because I've been singing this afternoon with Arnie. And we had rugby match first things. It's been a long day. Right, special welcome to everybody. There's more people watching every week, so there must be new people, so you're very welcome. Normal setup. We'll say hello, give them a chance to log in. And yeah, we should definitely jam someday. Yeah, I like when people say jam. It makes me sound like a real musician. Whereas a bit of a dream, thanks, Anne. I don't need any abuse online. I don't need trolling. I've got my own son to keep me down. And yeah, we had rugby up early this morning because rugby season's on. So it's been a long day, long weekend, and we're all getting up early. Anyway, enough waffling, Ross. The point is, I just want to say to people, oh, I haven't locked out already, have I? Have I frozen already?
Yep.
Oh, come on. We've already just started. Usually got to go at least 10 minutes before freezing. Where's that special button you showed me last time, man? There was,
No, I didn't show you a button.
there was, alright, I'm going to be really careful now, because I know it annoys everybody, including me. And I should make sure I don't move my knees. Don't move my knees. And, right, cool. Right, we got loads of people online. Brilliant.
Patricia's got it.
Patricia's got... What they got? Wait.
Christian Bale in the film.
Christian Bale. Yeah, Newport boy. There we go. The most glamorous thing to come out in Newport. Oh, that's interesting. You're getting the comments quicker over there than I'm getting them over here. Right, okay, so my main rant, I'm starting to get a bit cheesed off about, we just can't shake off this idea that everything's blasted Roman. I'm finding it quite frustrating. But I think we're making headway. I do think we're making headway. I've seen people changing some of the views on stuff like Celts, and this backing themselves into another ridiculous corner. So I'll do a quick thing. I'll try to keep it down, like I said, under an hour. Right, so if you're new to the show, what I normally do is a few news items, because it's Britain Hidden History. It's one of the reasons I put these pictures up, all these fine people on here. I need to add more to it as well. Along the bottom here. Yes, we should have a quiz as well, yes. The only people you can recognise.
Yeah.
Along the bottom.
Don't put it in the comments for everyone else to see.
Yeah, well, I like drawing these. It's good fun. I got a couple of new ones. I think last one's come out really well. And this one, they're new. This one's new. Anyway,
I think I can name most of those people.
I just hope you can name all of them. Anyway, the point is, I'm getting distracted now. Yeah, it's a project because what happened was the version of British history that was taught in schools, widely accepted. People like Shakespeare wrote plays, all sorts of things. Before 1700s, well, about the 1680s, it started to change quite dramatically. And then in the 1700s, when the Hanoverians came in, can you come a bit near so I can read those? There's the 6 across Santa. Everyone says that. Good job I didn't draw him in a red suit, wasn't it? And then, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And then about 1700s, it really got going where everything in British history was rewritten. I know it sounds crazy. There's a lot of complaints going on at the moment about this woke thing that's happening, and all the history's being changed and rewritten to suit the current political agenda. This is not a new thing, all right? As George Orwell put it in 1984, you have to not only change history, you have to make all the people forget that it's been changed, and it's been incredibly effective. The invention of this Anglo-Saxon dramatic conquest, calling the English, Welsh and Irish Celts, all these things have come since the 1700s, okay? Now, one of the things which I haven't done is, I'm going to follow up next week and show some examples from old books, how the Roman occupation was dealt with, and how much that has changed. Because I want to try and make the point this evening that there was a lot of reasons for the Roman Empire and the Romans being eulogized and deified and made into a sort of master race where everything is Roman. The old Monty Python scene, you know, what did the Romans ever do for us? And they go through a long list of things, and I would argue, of that long list, they probably did none of them. So there you go. Can't do the whole list tonight, but I'm going to work through a few. Okay, but first of all, let's see some of the things, just some of the things that's been happening this week, because it's been another exciting week. Oh, first of all, correction. Julian Llewellyn-Bren, I know tried to call me earlier, but I was out singing, and I had to turn the phone off, and I haven't had a chance, because I had to get this ready. So I will call you back, okay? Julian Llewellyn-Bren, he's doing great stuff, making more videos. Look up the Facebook, it's called History Wales, or is it Welsh History? I put the link up last week. Have a look on last week's show, you'll see it. It's good stuff. Right, yes, now, only if you're not on Facebook, you probably won't be aware that this is, of course, Mr. Alan Wilson, who, along with Baron Blackett, has been fighting this campaign to effectively save British history. Oh, that reminds me, I'm going to have to take a slight gap a second, because I got the video ready and I didn't finish saving it. Hang on a second, because you all want to see Alan later, Alan talking, which I'm doing. So I'm going to have to try and save that while talking. This what could possibly go wrong, eh? What could possibly go wrong? Delete that bit there. Sorry, folks. I said I was a bit rushed tonight. I'm going to have to try and... Hopefully this will save in time to watch it later. I think it will. So bear with me. I did the editing. I got everything ready. And then... and all the rushing around. Right, so what's happening is they need a new chimney, okay? Amongst other things, right? The house is a mess. There's two old men living together. As you know, they've been promoting... trying to save British history now since, well, Alan Wilson's been working on it since 1956, because he's almost 90 years old, yeah. And he's been working with Barham, and with Barham since about 1976, so it's been a long old process, and they've never had any, well, obviously no rewards. Hang on, right. So that saves in time. So into a format you can actually watch. 65 years, yep. And, you know, the sad thing about it is that they've ended up with very little for their troubles. And the roof caved in weeks ago, which I mentioned. And Barron was up there on a ladder, almost broke his neck. God knows what would happen if anything happened to Barron. I don't know what we'd do. It'd just to be a disaster, because he looks after Alan as well. So I basically sent the money off to... they got a quote, 800 quid to fix the chimney. We're also getting industrial cleaners in to clean the house. I'd like to upgrade some of the appliances, because they got a dangerous looking electric cooker and a couple of other things, alright? So all in all, there was stuff needed doing. So a few people said, hey, why don't you put up a GoFundMe page and people will chip in. So I only did this a few days ago, alright? And I've been, I have to say, truly, truly impressed by the generosity of people and how well it's doing. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. And the current total is, you'd be amazed and pleased to know, is £679. Absolutely amazing. And Michael Tomlin, £50. People will be putting in £100. But I always say with this thing, it's hugely appreciated. We do need some revenue coming in, because it's a full-time operation. It doesn't make much money. All the money gets shared with Wilson and Blackett. And when big bills come in, it's a real problem. And we pay for all the printing of the books up front, all the production, the legal fees. I don't want to go into legal fees, but we did have some legal problems. Well, they had some legal problems, which I've sorted out, all done, paid all the legal bills. So money does go out in printing books and producing things. And it's really helpful. And as I always say, what we're trying to do with this project, it's very much a case of, it's all of us, you know, it's all our histories. And what we really want is lots of people giving a little, rather than a little number of people giving lots. So thank you to the Patreon supporters. Thank you to those. There's a link for the new chimney appeal, and also cleaning the house, and maybe even, he loves that old chair, but maybe even changing the old chair, right? And just generally improving where they live, you know. I'm worried. When I go up there, the first thing I have to do, normally I go up for about 3 or 4 days. I have cleared one room for me to sleep in, so I'm going to stay nearby like I used to. And the first day I spend up there is always cleaning the kitchen and everything, and cleaning out everything. I'm not great at doing that. And it's not the best use of time when I should be talking more about history with Alan and making videos and stuff. So all help appreciate, and thank you. Incredible response so far. I mean, absolutely. I thought we get to about 300-400, and I just take the hit on the rest. And we're up to almost 700 after a few days. So hopefully we can smash this target, and then boom, off we go. Robert's your mother's brother. Yeah, Charles, John, how do I donate, please? Yes, if you look in the... Thank you for asking. Excellent question. Thank you. My favourite question. If you go into the description, it should be below the video. So look, can you see it on description? Let's say I'm just on. He's going to try it on the one next there. Where's description?
I don't know if it hasn't loaded on this.
Right? No description. It should be there. Yeah, great.
I think it usually is. It just maybe his computer or something.
Alright, Arnie, can you... Alright, okay, I'll try and do. Thank you, as the description's not on there. What I will do, I will copy and paste the description. This is a great thing about doing a live show, you see. If I know how to do it. I got to put this into the chat. I'm not on the chat, am I?
You can go onto the chat.
How do I go into the chat?
On your live, yeah. Live
oh,
chat,
okay.
live
Alright. Let's see if this works. God, this would be fantastic, wouldn't it, if this worked?
What
to do now?
Too much.
1 letter too much? Oh, I can't be.
200 letter limit, 201.
Ah.
That's cruel.
That's cruel. There's 101 letters on the link. Alright, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you go to GoFundMe.com, All right, GoFundMe.com, and then search for I don't know, Wilson and Blackett, or Blasters. That's frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, Alan Wilson Chimney or something like that. Right, okay, anyway, it's all good. Hope on the horizon. Nisara Gazara is being rolled out. Seniors first. I don't know what Nisara Gazara even is. And I can't even guess what that is. So that's a weird one. Right, okay, so anyway, bring you up to date on that. Let it run for another week or two. And then hopefully we get there. Right, just a couple of stories. This one I go back to and do more about because people like David Mosley or Davids Mosley point out a few changes need to be done on this. It's not quite right, but I'll just read what Chris Sussexman, I don't know if that's his real surname, but Chris anyway. So this Silbury, Wilcott and Merlin's mount, interesting name, as an aerial photograph showing that they form a perfect equilateral triangle. Could the construction of these mounds be for the following reasons, or a combination of all three? I am going to get back to ancient mounds next week. I know it's a very popular subject. I'm going to go way, way back and do star maps and all that kind of thing, okay? Now, the triangles are very interesting if you follow Robin Heath's work, because you can show the whole of Britain has been mapped out by the very ancients. It's amazing. And this is a similar technique that you would still use today if you were doing surveying. You create your trig points, the third one, equilateral triangles, and you've got two triangles, you make the next plot, and you can go out across the whole country. It's like a grid, only they're triangles, yeah? So, and he also mentioned, could there be signalling posts as per my interview with Rick Osman? If you haven't seen that yet, please have a look. And then the high places have their special significance. So if you came back to mounts, it's more of a heads up, because there was a really good Facebook discussion all about this and more information on it. And I want to talk more about it next time. I'm not going to talk about this one now. I think people have seen this, but I will... I should do something about it. Yeah, I think we have mentioned something about this before, but this came up this week in the Daily Mail. I am conscious about time today. Let's just quickly just give my quick few comments about this, so I do like to keep people up to date. Okay, so let's copy that, and I will put it in the description. You should be able to find it. It's easy enough on the Daily Mail thing. Oh, here we go. Yeah, got a load of DMG. Right, so here we go. Hope you can see this. So look, I'm not cutting anything off. I'm going to cut it off. Don't scroll too high, Ross. Right. Legend of King Arthur revealed. This is a really frustrating article. Because it's right. Experts decode, like it's so difficult. 7 pages of a 700-year-old manuscript. So what's that, 1300s? One of the earliest of its kind, telling the story of Camelot, including a romance between Merlin, the magician, and the enchantress Viviane.
Oh, you've got an ad popping up in the corner.
Yeah, I know. What can you do? Can't get rid of it. That's the trouble. Do you find it? Am I just the only one? You just like the mainstream media stuff is just now so difficult to even read. So many pop-up adverts and distractions, and today's headline. I don't want today's headlines. Right. What's frustrating about this? Okay, this is to give the background, a summary of it all. What they're saying is, this is part of the French tradition of Arthurian stories. All right, the Lancelot Grail cycle. Documents contain a continuous passage from the 13th century of Old French texts, known as the Vulgate or Lancelot Grail cycle. So scholars believe that these texts were used as a source for Sir Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, on which many modern retellings of Arthurian legend are based. Well, it ain't what Malory said, because if you look in the introduction of Le Morte d'Arthur, he makes it very clear that he went to the old Welsh stories. And he actually moved to Caerleon and stayed in a hotel there for quite a long time to be amongst the sites and to get into the whole thing of it. The reason we have the French writing, it seems to have started after the so-called Norman invasion, which I'm going to do on soon. I don't think there was a Norman invasion. That's going to sound a bit weird off the cuff. It will make more sense when I do it in more detail, right? So what's bizarre about this article then is the sort of, you know, how they did it and all that. Yeah, well done, very clever. They analysed it. You can read all this yourself at your leisure. But the thing I want to get to... they talk about how they date it and everything. Oh, God, it's so hard to follow things on here. Sorry, it must be really difficult for you to follow it while I scroll. The bit I'm trying to get to is the fact that down here somewhere... Well, the point it makes, anyway, is it says this also... coincides or is similar to the Welsh stories. What is not known, and I got a so-called Welsh expert on Arthurian history, is when the Welsh copied the French stories. I mean, it's just... You really couldn't make this stuff up. It's amazing. At what point the Welsh copies are made, it says. Anyway, so I'll put the link in and you can have a look. As I said, I don't want to spend too long on that one, alright? Just had to say something, I think. And also mention that we're going to blow this whole myth of a Norman invasion. Definitely, I won't give too much away, but obviously we know they didn't invade Wales ever. And more and more thinking that they might not have invaded England either, or at least not much of it. Okay. Right, oh, here we go. Yes, just to make sure people have seen, there's been a video going up every day at 6 o'clock. And this is based on Rob Shaw's, little extracts from Rob Shaw's book. Fantastic book, Architecture of Power. And it's a little bit about, the whole book isn't about this. It's not all about 17th century. It's about these ancient Egyptian Osiris cult, going back thousands of years, and how that went through the bankers of Venice, how banking moved to the city, their whole idea, and how the whole layout of London is based on this kind of Osiris rituals, it's the best way of putting it, where the goods that come in on the ships are treated very much like the souls are treated in ancient Egyptian stuff, okay? So, but these particular stories that Rob did short videos on, and I just dressed them up a bit, are specific events around the 17th century. And I can see from the viewing numbers that not that many people have seen them yet. It's quite good. I'm not playing about the numbers. But if you haven't seen them, please have a look. They're only about 6-7 minutes long each. And the reason I'm so interested in them is not just because of their the shocking stories that they tell us about what happened in the 17th century. It's to get people to realise, especially things like who started the Fire of London, the fact that it was a parliamentary report. Someone was hanged. People were officially blamed. Stuff was put on the monument to say who started the fires. The whole Pudding Lane thing is just a myth. I don't even know where it particularly comes from. I mean, it was bandied around at the time, but it's just a myth. If you think about it logically, the one place designed to deal with fires and extreme heat is a baker's oven. It was the safest place in London. It's ridiculous, the idea that it started from this oven going wrong or something. The guy who owned the bakery was never prosecuted. He was shocked. Now, the important thing is not just about the fire and the fact that they seem to have deliberately created the plague, deliberately created the wars, the famine, the whole thing. What people...
How did they create a famine plague?
Well, okay, well, I'll just say something. Oh, hang on a second. That's ready to go. Good. Good question. Arnie, how could they create a famine and a plague? Well, I don't want to go too much into it now. Because, can't be... Yeah, if the clock's wrong, I might... Oh, of course, it says 10 to 8 on there, because that's when I lifted the picture. It's not 10 to 8. I was like, my goodness, what's happened? You also read in there, right, well, the plague, what you'll find if you watch the short videos, is where you'll see the scientists like Robert Hooke had been studying fleas, and they could see the connection between the fleas carried on rats and the spread of plague, and they seemed to think that was a cause for it. And then, bizarrely, they passed a law banning all cats and dogs from London, which, of course, had the immediate effect of boosting the rat population. and it might even have encouraged trade from infected areas. Now, why would they risk their own lives like that? Well, this is the one video which is getting loads and loads of views. You can't see on screen. Is the one that the elite had a secret to keep themselves safe.
Told me that one.
Yeah, you see. So
you have to watch the video if you want to.
I can watch the video for that one of you. That's the Arnie's. Arnie's the boss. He's looking after my viewing figures on there. They weren't going to die. There was no royals or elites died. Samuel Pepys and all them were wandering around with their diaries while the peasants died. It's quite shocking. Then the wars were deliberately started with Holland to get the two Protestant countries fighting each other at the behest of France. And also the Stuarts seem to have a vendetta against the city itself. And the same with the famines, which were artificially created. And the reasons they're important, without being too controversial, is to two main levels. One, well, the obvious question is, why is it the first thing that almost everyone who goes to school in Britain gets taught is the Great Fire of London? My children all went through it. They made the little half-timbered houses and learnt all about pudding.
And then they burnt them for like a video and stuff.
Yeah, burn the houses afterwards, all that. It's drilled in as propaganda from the age of about 4 or 5 usually. It's not even true. So why is that the first thing that almost every school child gets taught? Which leads directly on to the second point then, is to try and get people to question that what they learnt in school or what's been banged into them through indoctrination is not necessarily correct or based on anything apart from the same story regurgitated and regurgitated and regurgitated. That's why the book's very important, as well as what it contains, and it's very well written. That's why these little 6-minute videos are worth watching, because they will shock you and it will change you to realise. I know the people watching these videos coming on a Sunday evening are all aware of this. They're free-thinking people, and they are, accept that a lot of things need questioning. But everyone's got their limit. How far will they go? I mean, for example, extreme example, if you start looking at flamenco, and you go through the new chronology, where they're saying the whole 1,000 years should be taken out of history. I mean, that takes a lot for people to get their head around. And they talk in there about all the Roman so-called ancient records were actually written in Renaissance times, and it's a forged ancient history. That takes a lot to get your head around. I have a lot of trouble getting my head around that. I do find it very useful books because it shows the problems with the evidence that we're presented unquestioningly, like Tacitus or Tacitus. Well, there's no provenance for the one document that was miraculously found up in North Germany in, I think, 1546. There's no copies before that. There were no copies found in Italy. So where all these ideas come from? We're all aware of, like I said, those ideas that Rob Shaw brings there, showing how 17th century history is being misrepresented, how the government was prepared to do amazing things. Why do people think it was different in Hanoverian times, or in Victorian times, or even now? Okay, so I have to try and start fresh. And this is where Alan Wilson is such a genius and so brilliant. His mind works differently to most people, almost everybody. Not only he's got this genius ability to analyse, but he just looks at something and reads it. I know it sounds crazy, whether it be the Bible or a book or even a newspaper. Probably a bad example. If you just look at it and just read word by word, rather than trying to get the gist of it or apply our own thinking to it. All right. Okay, so there we go. So I'm gonna have a bit of a. I didn't hit it then, did I? Oh, plugging heck! Sorry, folks.
Plus, you just got a new viewer. First time, Mr. David Watts.
Hello, David. Your first go. Yeah, this doesn't happen a lot, does it, folks? Hang on. Well, I've got so many things open, I can't find how to unjam it. We're going over to a radio show for a moment. I've got to get to this one. Where is it? OBS, where is it? There we are.
Yeah.
Okay. I just hardly moved at all then. I will sort something out for next week, I promise, folks. Okay.
You need a better USB connection.
Yeah, I need one that doesn't get hit by the chair somehow. Right. It all looks so professional, doesn't it? And these things happen. Alright, so get to the main focus of tonight, which is to start bursting this Roman bubble. Alright? Because there's more and more stuff keeps coming out and it just annoys me. So here we go. here's one, this is all from this week. People have shared on Facebook, or I've seen in newspapers and things like that. Actually, other people tell me what's happening. So here we go. It's got this bronze helmet found in it's an ugly page of text. Bronze helmet found in a Cumbrian village, sold for £2.3 million. This bronze Roman helmet, complete with mask, became the most expensive ever sold in Britain, £2.3 million. Known as the Crosby Garrett's helmet, from a Cumbrian village where it was found from the 1st or 2nd century. Blah, blah, blah. They all made loads of money, okay? And they're worried because it's going to leave the country and all that kind of stuff. What they never do, you can try and read the rest of this, or pause and come back later, is, why is it Roman? It's found in Cumbria. It's a British area. It's quite north. They got no real way of dating metal. And you have to look more and more into it and start realising this is just what happens, okay? There it is. Now, if you look at it, there's quite a few interesting things about design.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, and it's beautiful.
It looks more like something for a play or something, like a costume.
Yes, you are quite right, Arnie. It is something from a play or costume, effectively. These are like ceremonial or sporting helmets and masks. Now, there's a curious thing. First of all, the thing on top of the helmet looks, looks a bit like a dragon or a griffin or something. Doesn't look particularly Roman.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a griffin.
The helmet or hat is what's called Phrygian or Phrygian.
That looks a bit like the one Macedonians.
Yeah, looks like a Macedonian helmet. Oh, very good. Hey, Arnie, doing well tonight. You're on fire. Nice to have you paying attention. The hairstyle's not very Roman. Nothing really about Roman. It's just it's found in Britain, and it's too early to call it Saxon or Norman, so it kind of has to be. Or it becomes Neolithic. So what I've also done on this one, we can look this up because it's... I've got so many windows open, I messed up here. Right, here we go. So good old Wikipedia. It's always good fun because you get the mainstream version. I don't use Wikipedia as a source of truth, but it's quite good on telling you what's happened, how stories being put together. So here's the same story we just read about. So it's actually found in May 2010. So it's quite an old story. It was sold in 2010. I think what they're trying to do is fight to stop it leaving the country, okay? Right, so here we go. See, Roman cavalry helmet. I mean, not based on anything. So we've got the Phrygian cap, the griffin, amphora. It's bronze, which is, that's where the Britain comes for your tin and your copper. The highest concentrations of iron reserves are in Britain. And there's the other, this is a bit. So there's two others found in Britain. The Ribchester helmet, which we'll get on to in a minute, the Newstead helmet. And there's this is the kind of alloys and things that the British are well known for doing. Okay, so I'm not saying it's definitely British. I'm not saying it's definitely not Roman.
It's not definitely Roman.
The point is, it's not even considered. And one of the things I'll keep pointing out about these parade masks, as they call them, so if you look in the British history and records, they talk about the Troy games, which Wilson and Blackett show is the probable origins of jousting tournaments, where they'd have intricate battles, fake battles with fake armour, and a lot of this stuff seems to hark back to Trojan times and Trojan-style masks and a Trojan appearance. And these would be the games that have been put on, particularly with horses and cavalry. Okay? So, I guess keep saying, there's no reason to say this can't be British or has to be Roman. What we're trying to do is get a level playing field where it's actually considered. We must be the only country in the world where anytime something's found, anything is found is considered to be not British unless categorically proved otherwise. Hang on, yeah, people are asking what the hats might represent. David Church, looks a bit horsey on top. Romans invented horses, that's quite right, yeah, thank you.
Also, a good guess, nutmeg.
Nutmeg, thank you, David Church. Yes, nutmeg, that was the secret that kept the elite alive. And I mean, it's great books about it. I mean, if you ever read Nathaniel's Nutmeg, I've forgotten who wrote it. I love that book as well. It's really good book. It's not Gavin Menzies, he did the 4052. Someone out there, someone clever will Google it or know it. Nathaniel's Nutmeg, great book. Explains the wars that were fought over nutmeg and how the price in modern money was worth millions. And it's not just because it gave you a bit of a kick or it was quite tasty. It could save your life. Suddenly, Nathaniel's nutmeg and all that makes a lot more sense, yeah? Alright, here's another one. You see, this is the one that came up in the news this week. As you can see, when I grabbed this picture, it was 10 hours ago. So this is like a current picture. Rosset is in North Wales. And once again, archaeologists begin a dig at a Roman villa. They begin the dig at the Roman villa. This is where I get annoyed. Begin the dig. They haven't dug it, discovered a villa and gone, hey, look at this. This must be Roman. Because that would make sense, yeah? Hey, we found a building. I wonder what it is. I don't know. Let's dig. And after 10 years of research, looking at it, considering all things, turns out, hey, guess what? It's Roman. Unfortunately, that ain't how it's done. Alright, so we can do another one here. Which one's this? I got so many up there. That's another one I'm going to come on to in a second. Gordon Bennett. Oh, I thought I had this one. Oh yeah, here we go. The leader, North Wales, Rag. I think it's from Wrexham, judging by the fact it's called Wrexham AFC. Not many other people cover Wrexham Football Club. It's just by the Wrexham newspaper. And they're all like, first of its kind to have been discovered in North East Wales. More information about the nature of Roman settlement. I mean, it's thought to date from the early 1st century to mid 4th century. They have to say it's between the 1st and the 4th century, because it's any earlier, it can't be Roman, and any later, it can't be Roman. So that's that date, in case you wonder where the date comes from. It's not they found something and dated it, and then based it. No. It's Roman, therefore it must be during what they call the Roman period, even though we know that's not as long as it would be. So they are with the diggers. So excited they got to the Roman level, they're going to use those massive things and just smash through anything above it. So any more recent British history got no chance. They're just going to batter it because there's this fetish and obsession with things being Roman. And she's also excited, and look at this, I found a bit of stone, obviously Roman. How can you know that?
Finding stones.
How can you know that? Well, actually it's a bit of pottery, my mistake, sorry. How can you know that's Roman? I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. And it's obviously locally produced, because pottery, anyway, whatever. Let's smash it through with big diggers. We found a wall. And the reason why this really struck Mandy McCourt, who's done great research on Caermead. Hang on, more adverts. Which is the one in South Wales, where the villa was discovered back in the 1880s. 1881. And they dug away. Yeah, we found this villa. And then when they got down, they think, oh my goodness, this is British, not Roman. And they filled it all back in again and act like it's not there. Whereas if it had been Roman, like Caerleon they think is Roman, spend millions. Museums, visitor centres, reconstructions, the whole lot. Caermead, there's not even a sign on the field to tell you there was a British palace there. And this looks remarkably similar. The style and everything. And they found a lump of lead. Well, the lead mines are in North Wales. You would expect to find lead. I mean, that's where lead comes from. I think in 1900, it's like a quarter to a third of all the roofs in the world had their lead from North Wales, something like that.
Like going to a trip down Big Pit and going, I found coal.
Yes, it is. Very much like that, yes. Fancy finding lead in North Wales. It must be Roman. I mean, it's the first Roman villa of its kind structurally as testing in North East Wales. So why do you think it's Roman then? So we're going to add to our knowledge. And I'm going to jump away from the presentation, jump to the next one, because I've got... This is my favourite. This is my favourite. Come and join us. Oh my goodness. Anyone, please. Fort in the Wood. It's just fortinthewood.org.uk. Easy to find, right? I've been following this for years. And closely guarded secret until 2018. Yeah, that's when I started following them and sending messages and asking questions like, how do you know it's Roman? Because... they've declared it was Roman, and they say, we haven't assumed anything. And I'm like, the lost Roman fort. What do you mean you haven't assumed anything? If you go on their Facebook page, and I think on the website, if you go through it all, you find little Roman soldiers that made a Lego, and they're so excited. And do you know what? All they found was a LiDAR scan. Didn't even dig. Not even a spade to find a stone wall under the ground. And which clearly marks out a larger fort. I just went, it's Roman. It beggars belief. And if you think about the logic, they've got other ways they've tried to date it to 1st or 2nd century. There was, even by the official mainstream versions of Roman history, they were still fighting in North Wales and north of England. Sorry, this is north of England now. They're not far away, actually, funny enough. They were still fighting. It was under hostile conditions. So you've only got 1 or 2 legions. You've basically got a few thousand of these in sandals, right? Trying to quell thousands of square miles. And meanwhile, look, at just throw off the armour and build this huge stone fort, which has clearly taken decades and decades and decades and decades. If it is 1st or 2nd century, it's clearly far more likely to be built over the previous 100, 200 years by the British. Because Alan Wilson says, I get a stone, I put another stone on top of it, I just built a Roman wall. Why is this Roman? Why is it Roman, yeah? Unbelievable. And read it, it just drives you mad, right? Listen to this. Good. It is good, isn't it? Until now, there's been very little evidence of Roman military occupation of this coastal district. On or near the coast, there are only a handful of other known forts, and these are Kirkham, Lancaster, and further inland, Ribchester, which I'm also not convinced that's where the helmet came from, by the way. Or one of those helmets. So the fort in the wood potentially fills a gap in the knowledge of Roman military occupation of lowland northwest England. And focuses blah, blah, blah. And it says in here somewhere, unless they've changed it, I haven't been on this for a while. Anyway, when they first did it, they were so excited. They said, do you realise there is no record or evidence at all for the Romans considering this part of Britain to be strategically significant or important? There's no record of any Roman force being sent to this area. And we found a fort. Now, what would a logical person do? The Romans are pretty good at keeping records. We know where the 3 main legionaries were, apparently. 2 on the British border, 1 up in the north, Hadrian's Wall, and presumably there'd be some garrisons knocking around in England. I don't know. But anyway, that accounts for pretty much all their army. I would argue not even Roman anyway, but anyway. Let's go with the mainstream for a minute, alright? So, this fort is huge, okay? This is why they're so excited. It's enormous. It's a great big stone thing. It's huge. You probably need a whole legion just to garrison it. So, where did this legion come from? There's nothing recorded, right? It's not on the records. So, what's the logical conclusion for the archaeologists to come to? And it's... it must be on the website still somewhere. The conclusion was we have to rewrite what we know about the Romans in northwest Britain.
What, just to make it fit the Roman thing?
Just to make it fit the Roman thing, you have to. So if anyone wants to go, please go. See, 1st, 2nd... They haven't even covered it yet. I mean...
You can dig for 5
So it's Roman, even though we don't know why it's Roman or anything. Have a look on the site. Send them a message, because, I mean, they kind of got sick of me in the end. Just ask questions. Why do you think it's Roman? They stopped me on Facebook because they couldn't answer the questions. No, we haven't assumed anything. So why have you got the word Roman in the first part of your description? And sheesh. Here we go. Hang on. Yeah, all they've done is geophys, right? It's like scanners, Limited, a little bit of digging, nothing much really. Aerial photographs show what appears to be roughly a square ditch. Obviously Roman because it's square, isn't it? It's just bizarre, okay? It's just bizarre. Oh, one other story I missed on here, which I meant to talk about, I think. Here we are. There's a bit more about the Roman villa near Wrexham. That's all they got. What's Roman about it? Sorry, I can't see the comments. Just bring this a bit nearer. Arnie seems to have wandered off. Plus he's trying to find out where my cup of tea has gone, which never arrived. Okay. There's the fort in the wood. I just showed you that already. I jumped ahead. Of course, it's a fortress Roman. Oh yeah, I have to come back to this because we are going to run out of time. Look it up, please. If you get a chance, I might already put the link in the description. Otherwise, I'll add it later. Thank you very much. Patricia Gilcash found this. It's the Dispilio tablet. And they're dating it 5,000 BC or something. The dating is irrelevant, all right? It's just nonsense. They're calling carbon-12 dating. I think they mean carbon-14 dating because there's no such thing as carbon-12. But anyway, carbon-14 because it's an unstable isotope, whereas carbon-12 isn't. All right. they're massively ancient in the writing. It does look like Colburn. I reckon with a bit of fiddling about, we could read that if someone wants to have a crack at it. Anyway, on to the main subject. Who knows? Quiz night. I'm in the mood for quiz night tonight. I don't know why. Who this guy is. Very, very famous. And he loved these fellas. Right? I have to do this now. That's how you do it when you're displaying little things so the camera can focus. Just to let you know, this is my job. This is what I used to do. I'd been poorly and I didn't need a job that I could do relax from home. And I did this for quite a while. So I paint these. These are all hand painted, those shields, look. That's what I used to do. Paint toy soldiers, magazine shoots, figure manufacturers. You know, you buy a kit or something, like a model or something, you see the box lid, and it's, oh, that's beautiful. And you open it up, it's just a pile of plastic. Well, you have to think, at some point, someone did the painting and the building before the thing was made, otherwise you couldn't put the picture on the box. So that's one of the things I did. I even worked for the BBC, painting on their toys and stuff. There we go, some Norman Cavalry. They are very pretty, aren't they? So I just give... Oh, a cup of tea, thanks, Ange. So I was listening to the show. So, right, so I probably painted more Romans than anybody. I did a collection for one, little 6mm ones, the Battle of Zama, and it was against the Carthaginians when they finished them off. Like 2,000 of them or something. Oh, almost drove me mad, okay? Right, someone... there's a big lag on this. Has anyone... anyone? No. Right, okay. I know no guesses even. Alright, this is a portrait of the beautiful, charming, good-looking Edward Gibbons, who's one of the people I want to get onto. Because he is part of this idea of a Roman superstate populated by Roman superhumans who could do everything, and the British were just barbarians. Because it's important, because Gibbons' work, Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, is held this wonderful literary piece. And I'll have to do a separate video. I'm going to have time to go through it now. I want to take that work apart as being a flight of imagination. And and the motivation for it was very, very clear, okay? At the time, this is when I know, sacrilege, a taboo, isn't it? You know, Gibbon, oh, you can't criticise that. What happened was, if you look at it, the situation, British history had been deleted, all right? It had been removed. It had been on the syllabus. I say Shakespeare wrote plays about it. Everybody knew it. A British ancient civilization descended from Troy. Before that, you got the previous Albine migrations, the Lloegr, the English, Albans, Scotland, Cymru, Welsh. All these things happened, all right? But all that had to get deleted because they were worried about uprisings. I mean, you take it, the Hanoverians came in 1714. 1715, there was a Jacobite uprising. The Welsh were ready to rise up, and so were the English. So, of course, these fairy tales were introduced whereby all English was suddenly Germanic. They were Angles or Saxons or Jutes. Even though, well, modern DNA says it's less than a third. I would say in that period it was an even maybe 10% of the English population was actually Germanic. And the vast majority were Britons. From the various bunches we know about through Wilson and Blackett's work, like Vandals, Syrians in Surrey, Sumerians in Sumer, the Gewisse, the Cavalry, all these different people. And the difficulty you have, and Wilson and Blackett point this out, is that when you delete history, you leave a void, and you can't have a void. You need to fill it with something. Like, have you ever wondered why Britain seems to be the only country in the world where all the education, the classics as they're called, is about Greek and Roman history, not about British history? Or why the warships all have Greek and Roman names? Alright, there are a couple of exceptions. You can find an HMS Arthur. But generally, the most famous ships are Achilles and Ajax or Ajax. And this is how we do our history. If you look at a dear friend of mine, Alan Mudd, who passed away a couple of years ago. If you look at he was an ex-paratroop, parachutist. He's always very keen to say he was not a paratrooper, he was a parachutist. And they had the Pegasus on the side. I've forgotten. Oh, forgotten the logo. If someone could put it on there. Oh, that's a shocker. Forgotten the Paras logo. Anyway, everything's in Greek or it's in Latin. You never see English schools teaching the Welsh language, for example. I doubt they teach Gaelic either or any of those languages. Everyone has to learn dead languages, Roman and Greek. And I think it's a bit bizarre. Well, the reason is you have to fill the void with something. You can't just say we're not studying stuff before 500 AD. So this when the Romans had to become blown out of all proportion. And everything in Britain, as you've seen those examples, hopefully I showed earlier, is still going on today. Anything found is either proclaimed Roman or hidden if it's not Roman. And you get this bizarre situation where the bulldozers come in and destroy all the evidence before you get to the Roman layer, and no one will dig beyond it. I might show a picture, because every now and again you get like roadworks like happened on the A1, where they dug really down deep, and you can see there's the Roman layer, and there was layers and layers and layers and layers of ancient road. And like Watling Street and Hermes Street, all these roads way predate the Romans by hundreds and hundreds of years. As we've shown in other videos, don't spend too much on that. But one of the things I want to talk about here, hope you like that, that's my little drawing. I've done a real brutal job on him. Like, there's Mr. Gibbons, dressed up in his beloved Romans, right? I do a quick quiz again, which is going to be difficult because of the log. The winged horse of the Paras. Yeah, what's the name of the guy on the horse? Come on. I know this stuff. Anyway, okay, let's have a look. Anyone know what the helmet is called and where it comes from? Don't forget, the Romans, what did the Romans do for us? Right, Romans invented everything, okay? So the helmet. So like 1, 2, 3. How long's the delay going to be? That's the problem. Yeah, I know it's Pegasus, but there's a guy on top. Anyway, alright, okay. It's called a Gallia. And that's because it was copied from the Gauls. Alright? The Gauls invented that kind of helmet. They saw it first, and the Romans copied it. And not very well. I'll show in a minute. Heavy spear or pilum. I'm going to show off some more of my painting again now. There we go. So, these pilums, which could be used as a sort of stabbing. And the idea of a pilum, I'm not going to snap one off, but it's got a long, you've all seen them, they got long, one wooden handle and a heavy metal part. And there's some controversy whether or not it would actually bend or buckle to make it hard to throw back, or if it was just for weight. A lot of tests have shown it doesn't actually buckle at all, but it wedges. And I've drawn here as a little wooden bit I've drawn at the bottom, and there's the metal bit. The point of it is this very heavy, short-range throw-in spear. And this seems to have been based on, first of all, the Germanics, the German barbaric tribes, who actually, I'll show you some of the Roman tactics as well, came from them. Because in our films and imaginations and drawings, it's all these nutters with no clothes going on. I'll throw my clothes off and my armour off and just run like a lunatic.
Blue paint, woo.
Yeah, you don't last long. Bellerophon, thank you. Bellerophon, thank you, David. Bellerophon was the word I was looking for. There we are, thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Bellerophon, it's again from Greek mythology rather than British, okay? I got a few friends in Paris, but none of us seem to know each other. It's bizarre, isn't it?
You tell me that guy is?
Yeah. Sorry, you missed the quiz who it was. Yeah, Gibbons, Edward Gibbons, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's on me earlier.
Yeah. Right, anyway, so the pilum is based on a German heavy throwing spear, which actually would have been all metal, even heavier. I guess they had more metal than the Romans did. And it's called a rompher or a costa.
A special feature where if it sticks in.
Yes, we just talked about that, but you're outside the room, okay? Yeah, the bending and the buckling might not be true, but yes. Well done, Arnie. I'm good to see you all over it. It's good. It's very good. And one of the other thing that people don't realise is, again, this was an adopted tactic. They got smashed up by the Germans, and it's another tactic that they borrowed because the early Romans, by their own historical records, and their own, I don't think any controversy about this, they copied, first of all, the Greeks, and they fought in phalanxes with long spears, a hasta, which is why you had the hastatii, which was the guys with the long spears, the statii. Really clever names they had for ancients, didn't they? Hoplites, because of the hopalon. The big shield, sorry, hoplon.
Gladiators with
Anyway, so
gladiators.
I forget all these military people here now. I'm gonna be careful what I say. Yeah, I'm pretty good on this stuff. I had years and years of. Because in wargaming, one of the things I want to talk about as well is that I used to do a lot of wargaming. That's what these are based for. You know, these are on like regular sized bases. You can move them around and reconstruct battles and play your games and all that kind of stuff.
Infantry and stuff.
The Romans always have extra abilities. Every rule set, you'll find any single one. A Roman will beat anyone else. It's like a propaganda exercise with the wargaming.
The best competition army.
Yeah, best competition army. Yeah, I won. I won a world championship using my Romans.
What?
So I haven't always been anti-Roman. Yeah, the Derby Worlds. Remember back in? Oh no, that was a Welsh army I used. No, fair play. I used a Welsh army for that.
Oh, the one you
It was
had
the
in
Europeans.
studio.
Yeah.
King Arthur
Oh, you're a bit young. You can't remember, can you? No, you came up there and
World
everything.
Championship?
Yeah, I got all the trophies there.
What, Impetus 5?
Impetus, yeah. Yeah. There we go. And I went to Italy as well, didn't I? For the. Anyway, that's enough of that. Not here to discuss my wargaming career. But anyway, I did spend a lot of time painting these things and playing and researching and everything, alright? So the Greek has the Germanic, and then you got like the Contos, which is the very long spear, which basically becomes a lance later. And the Romans. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And you look like this as well.
Is there? Oh, you love it when it stops. Yeah, thanks, Ard. Really good screenshot of me there, wasn't it? Brilliant, thanks. All right.
Not my fault.
Okay, all right, yeah. Anyway, okay. So, right. So the pilum was it? What we're going to discuss next? Oh yeah, what do you call the sword that their infantry had? Come on. Ooh. You gotta wait 4 seconds to give people a chance to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go on, what's it called on?
Gladius.
A gladius. There you go. And the cavalry have a longer one. Can you remember that? We'll come on to that next. Hang on. So the gladius, all right. The gladius, like the cavalry sword, I'll come on to in a minute, was only planning memes. Yeah, of me. Yeah, thanks. Is there? Of the Spanish, and one of the reasons you look at the early campaigns of Sertorius, and later on Caesar as well. They were fighting a lot of wars in Spain, you notice, and that was over. That's where they said to have learnt the technology of how to make swords extra hard, because the shape's important, but what was more important was the technology to make better quality steel, which the Romans hadn't worked out. As is basically Spanish technology, as was the famous cavalry sword. Hey, Spatha, well done. Oh, David's all over this, isn't he? Spatha, yes, same thing again. Right, the armour. I'm going to give you a chance to use the trendy word for the little hoops I put on this one. Again, this is propaganda nonsense. This armour's rubbish. You'll see the name in a second.
It looks really cool, though.
It looks really cool.
Oh, with like the metal rings and stuff all overlapping.
Well, not the rings, no. Yeah, well, like strips. Strips like that. Strips.
Oh, that one.
Not these guys. This kind of armour, like these guys have got on, okay?
Can I see?
Yeah, you can see in a second.
Okay, you can hardly see it on a small screen, and the camera.
Oh, alright,
so
okay,
it just
alright.
makes them look kind of like grey
Thanks, Al. Yeah.
monsters.
Alright, there's a reason for me bringing these models out, not just to show them off.
That's a big part.
Doesn't quite focus. That's a big part, yeah. I haven't got these out for ages.
Camera.
Focus, come on. I need a piece of blank paper. Is there a piece of blank paper on? Alright, you can't quite see the armour.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hopefully that'll help you focus now. Yeah, you know the idea anyway. It's the kind of stuff we all see. And the reason we see it all the time is because this was sort of for a short period is around that kind of armour during the time of Jesus. So it kind of gets shown all the nativity plays and everyone thinks that's what Romans wore. It's rubbish, that stuff. It falls apart, terrible maintenance, very uncomfortable. Most of the time they wore chainmail and stuff, same as everyone else, okay? And I'll show you in a minute how rubbish it was. So it's not just a military lesson, there's a point to this, because the idea is this master race, these armies, went round romping around the world and smashed everybody. And the reality, it's not based on anything, the reality is the absolute opposite. Alright, we come on to the shield there, it's called the scutum, which refers to the bit sticking out. And again, The Romans started off with round shields. They copied the Greeks.
No, the shield was called a scutum.
Yeah, with a bit sticking out.
The boss.
Particularly the boss. Thank you, Aunt. Well done, the boss.
The boss.
And the whole shield came as a scutum. It's the sort of rectangular shape, which again was copied from the British or the Germans. Of course, you've got chariots, British. Nothing. The Romans seem to be a barbaric tribe. According to Fomenko, the Romans, Rome itself was still a small town until medieval times. So depends how far you want to go that one. Oh, right, hold on a second. So I'm going to show quickly now, if you just bear with me. Right. What I was going to do was, quick question. What have the following got in common, okay? Got the Battle of Allia, which is officially 390 BC. Not very well known, that one. Caudine Forks, not very well known. Very well known. Probably more people killed in this battle than any other ancient battle, which is the Battle of Cannae.
Punic War.
Yeah, Cannae. Cannae. Cannae.
Is that the one with the river?
You think the one with the lake, which I'll come on to in a second. The Battle of Caira. Carrhae. Another one of the great slaughters. An easier one now. Big clue. Teutoburg Forest. Or Adrianople in 378.
Because I read about that battle thing. What about that war? And I noticed the Romans seemed to lose like 5 armies or something.
Ah, you're giving it away a bit now, aren't you? Giving away the answers, see? This is the thing. I'll give you a clue here. These are these are all massive military defeats suffered by ancient Rome, okay? This website, not just me making them up. I would say there's a few more they could add to the list. Most notably, the slaughter where Hannibal really outmaneuvered them. Not on their list. Battle of Lake Trasimene.
Yeah.
Where they suckered them into... the Romans raised, I think it was 8, 9 legions very quickly.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking of. You had to go and sort him off.
But they tried to and then they tried to swim away on the horse and stuff.
Well, they got trapped against the lake, yeah. They did a counter-envelopment. And anyway, I'm good at military tactics, but yeah, they were outmaneuvered, outfought, and slaughtered. I mean, Hannibal romped around Rome for 40 years, all his life. The only reason he didn't have the equipment to take Rome itself, he didn't have the siege equipment, and was there much there worth taking? And Rome just kept regenerating armies to fight him, and losing.
Because like one city somehow had...
Yeah, they did have a lot of people, what they did have.
willing to go to war as well.
Yeah, whether they wanted to
Or
or
maybe
not.
not willing, but...
Yeah. And even if you look at things like the famous I'm Spartacus slave rebellion, they wiped out legions. Legions are quite rubbish, okay? So
they only ever seem to win like one battle in every war.
Yes. And this is, don't forget, this is mostly by their accounts. And they didn't like to write about defeats. So, imagine how many battles were never recorded. Okay, so we got Cannae, all these different battles. Quite good, this little site, actually. I was looking for some examples, and this came up, which had quite a few on it. Because I knew most of them already. And one thing I'd like to point out as well is Teutoburg Forest. Look at that, 10 or 20,000 Romans supposed to be lost.
That's a good few legions.
But nothing compared to Cannae. I mean, Cannae was, they reckon, could have been 40, 50,000. What does it say on this website? 50 to 70,000 here.
And captured 10,000.
Yeah. And then another thing is the Cimbric Wars. And you notice the Cimbri appear quite a lot in this. Now, something I'm doing with David Mosley, who's commenting on there, is trying to work out who the Cimbri were. Because Cimbri and Cymru does sound almost identical. And the British records do say that the migration included a stop-off in Denmark. So it could well be Cymru. Or another suggestion I would have is that it could have been Cymru in the first place. There's another absolute massive slaughter where there are 80,000 soldiers, 40,000 servants were killed. That's an exaggeration. I would think it's an exaggeration, yeah. So all these hammerings, okay? And then you've got, that's towards the end. This is what I want to get to, the sack of Rome, okay? This is where, this seems to be a British army that did this. If you look at, no, not Alaric's. So I'm looking at the Cimbric sacking of Rome. I think they got that bit wrong there. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The point's the same. Okay, so they're the troops. And one thing I looked at with interest... I managed to find confirmation of this, because a lot of this stuff's disappearing. There's a few things I showed a while. Look at these pictures. Look at these guys. And it's weird, because I know these pictures, because they're all from wargaming. They're all from like boxes of soldiers you can buy and stuff like that, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, Angus McBride did this one.
That one.
Yeah, all these drawings. Yeah, that's right. People just download, and they put an article here showing he just came in with spiky hair and bareback. And if you read all this, which I don't have a chance to do now, you will find that they were well recorded to have helmets. Plutarch is the one to read. If you read ancient Roman writer Plutarch, he describes the metal helmets, the equipment, the armour. This Naked Savages thing is a Victorian invention, okay? Why would the British, for example, they got the biggest deposits of iron in Europe, they got the access to the copper, they've got the only tin resources, they can make bronze, which is actually harder than iron unless you get good quality steel. They've been working it for hundreds of years. This metalworking culture, incredible, like the mould cape, beautiful intricate work, and apparently they couldn't make a set of armour or helmets. Well, of course they could. And the problem is, and this is what we're going to show more about soon, it's like a warm-up act tonight, is helmets and things have been found and then lost deliberately, or stolen, or vanished, whatever's happened to them, okay? And the other ones that are left then, even if all examples are found are in Britain, they're still labelled as foreign. Vendel helmets are classic. Vendel is one found in Vendel, Sweden. Loads, well not loads, but there's about half a dozen in Britain. That's pretty much all the Vendel helmets. So they call Swedish. It's things like that. It's absolutely maddening. And one of the things, it's getting late. Anyway, one of the things, let's talk to myself a second. You can look that up. I'll put the links up. One of the things it describes in there is that the early Roman armies, to go into the tactics a little bit, the early Roman armies were like an open phalanx, they call it. Instead of just shoulder to shoulder, like crushed in, bit more of a gap, but basically a phalanx, which is a block of soldiers. And what smashed them up was the Germans used the wedges. And a wedge was when you have, in later times, in dark ages, they called it the boar's snout or something. So what you do, you get your hardest, biggest, best armoured men in the nose of the snout. And then armoured men on the edges. You form a wedge. Anybody can go in the middle. They don't necessarily need armour. This is like the Swiss pikemen in Renaissance times. Most of them didn't wear armour because it slows you down. And the whole point of this tactic was speed, which is why it did have some unarmoured troops. So the wedge would smash, make a gap in the line, and then you could break out around and to the sides and that. And the Romans got thrashed all the time. So this idea that these legendary supermen could walk into Britain with a small army and just take the whole island is just ludicrous. I mean, they couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. Where's one of the things? Oh, and I had so much information to show on this, but what I wanted to talk about is look through the ancient records. I'll have to do a longer video about this because it's getting too late. Look at any of the... If we're going to believe them, right? If we're going to believe the Roman records, what else have we got to go on? If they're all forgeries, then the whole Roman thing gets thrown out. People like Tacitus are talking about how the quality of the workmanship went down over time. Like when they had the Marian reforms and they standardised all the armour, that was done so they could mass produce. It was cheap crap. The swords would bend. It was like a typical... the British armies always suffered through this. You go through all through Napoleonic periods and even more recently. It goes out to the cheapest tender and you get crap back, whereas it seems the weapons are actually better quality and the armour. One set of figures, I think they were for a customer rather than for me. You can see the Roman breastplates go as small as that. Just had, you can see.
Oh, just
But this size.
So many, they could afford to spend lots of money.
Yeah, they were skimping on the metal. Yeah, so you'd have 4 straps, little metal plate. That by Launica, the armour. I did mention it after teasing everyone about it. That's called Launica. Only used for a very short period. Most of the time they wore chain mail and scale mail. You just get bits of metal and sew them to a shirt. Now, I would argue the same thing and like to discuss about this. I want to make this one of the books we do, because Wilson and Blackett have written tons about this, but I want to add another layer. Things like, for example, applying a bit of logic. If you keep finding... I've got the word a minute. It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, the underfloor heating systems, HIPAA something. Someone saved me there. HIPAA. Anyway, they're going to... a heating system. Is it going to be cold, damp Britain, where they invented this and used it? Or nice, warm southern Italy, where it's really hot? I mean, come on. It doesn't make any sense. Like the Caermead thing, that palace was built in the 2nd century. British records told us where it is, who built it, why it was built, the style it was built. It's there, they've dug for it, they found it, it's British. Who's here to Caermead? You know? This is the kind of thing we're up against. So I would argue that the roads before the Romans, if you go through their panoply, their equipment, the helmet, the spear, the sword, the shields, probably even the boots, everything was just poor imitations of other people. And, oh yeah, I was going to talk more about Gibbons, wasn't I? If you look, I'll tell you what we'll do. I really like people to have a look for this themselves. And again, Wikipedia is not, obviously, why isn't this just coming up as a default? Alright, wikipedia.org. I had him up earlier. Yeah, Gibbons, sorry, not Gibbons. My mistake. He's got a very interesting life, you see. They are the history of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. It's the quality and irony of its prose. And it has a lot of polemical criticism of organised religion. If you look into it, it's like a rant against religion and all sorts of things. And when they talk about primary sources, you have to look through and see what they were. It really is cobbled together. I mean, for the period, it's a great piece of work. But sadly, it's become kind of, like a lot of these things, it's set in stone over time, you know, because everyone's brought up on this, and the public schools have always just worshipped this book. I think that's the right word. Worshipped the book, and worshipped everything it stood for, and the writing of it, and everything. And what I argue is that the point of this book is to create. If you read it, I confess I have not read it all, but I've read summaries and criticisms and things. But what always strikes you, I think anyone watching this who knows anything about this book, what always strikes you about it, isn't it amazing how similar the English Empire was to the Roman Empire? You had this centrally controlling headquarters, London, and with a military advanced force going all around the world, beating up Johnny Foreigner with gunships and arms and, you know, all the stuff I was brought up on, really, basically. Better training and weapons and, you know, how far back you want to go, guns and machine guns, whatever. Or just better drill and discipline. Basically outclassing everyone they fought, and small numbers of British troops were able to beat large numbers of native troops. What did Blackadder say? Some people running around throwing sticks and overripe fruit, rotten fruit at you or something, whereas they're armed with rifles and machine guns. So, obviously machine guns came after Gibbon, before people start calling me on that, okay? So, if you look at also the time he wrote it, you see it's 1776, 77, so it's about the time of the American Revolution. They really need to justify this English superiority and why they had a right to rule the world. And this was part of it. And the term was created called Pax Romana, which is this supposed period of peace when everything was quiet and cool and everyone did well and prosperous because the Romans ran the show, so no one had any reason to fight. You could wander from Britain all the way down to North Africa without needing a passport because they kept all the lid on things, the Romans. The reality doesn't seem to be like that at all. There was a lot of fighting going on, a lot of battles, and the Romans losing a lot of it. Also, it's very clear from the work we've done here on the Wilson and Blackett, previous videos, the British kings, for example, were totally independent of the Roman Empire. Not only that, there were periods when they clearly ran the Roman Empire. And you got someone who's born in Britain, married to a British wife, and dies in Britain, and is a British king, how can he still be called a Roman? Oh, they're going to bed now. Right, I'm going to have to wrap things up in a second. You say goodnight to show yourself quickly. Oh, that's a good boy. Yeah, school tomorrow. And you played rugby this morning. You had a long day, haven't you? It's a bit late. Oh, my goodness, yes. Right, okay. So when he wrote this story, it was creating a combination of a blueprint. It kind of enforced this idea. It served a lot of purposes. It filled the gap from deleting British history. It created a blueprint that, yes, there should be an empire. This is the way to run a world. The world should be run with one master race. What I would say in the modern politics is the scientists and the technocrats. That's how we're supposed to put up with things now. Stop thinking for ourselves. Yep, I'll be in a minute. And then the third one is the justification. And the justification being what Monty Python picked up on when they said, what the Romans ever done for us? You know, apart from plumbing and all these things, laws, all this stuff. And I would say none of those things, none, were created by the Romans and certainly not exported to other countries. In fact, if anything, quite the opposite was the case. So if you see that societies like Britain and Gauls and other places had perfectly good civilizations, had perfectly good laws, and were far more peaceful than the period when the Romans turned up with their legions and started slaughtering anybody they could get near. Alright, okay, so there are something to think about tonight. And I've managed to go up to an hour and a half. I was going to be an hour. Arnie's almost asleep.
What?
What?
I've been listening to the
Listening to the fascinating presentation.
Gibbons historian.
Yeah, well, you can see that, but it's not on the screen, you see.
Oh.
Hang on, I was going to sing a song to finish, wasn't I? Why don't you play us out, Arn?
Yeah.
Do you want to play us out, or shall I sing? Who wants me to sing and who wants I to play? Come on. I don't believe in the plumbing either. I want
to listen to you sing.
Trust the experts. You want to listen to me sing?
Yeah, with headphones.
With headphones. Yeah, good quality flat riveted chainmail available from the Ukraine. There you go.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure you're absolutely right on that one. It's not something I know. Ooh-ah! From Gary. Is Dazza there as well? Ooh-ah. Gary and Dazza. Arnie, please. Now, come on.
Come on, sing.
They had plumbing in Mohenjo-Daro. There we go. Patricia Gilcash. Mohenjo-Daro, I mean, that goes back. If you don't know, it's northwest India, Pakistan, I guess it'd be today. And that's a good few thousand years ago. Skara Brae had plumbing 5,000 years ago. There we go. Don't let the plumbing here, it will start leaking. Hey, bum. My only regret is messing around in Welsh and not learning it. Yeah, no, I still keep meaning to learn more Welsh, and it really does kick me.
Do you?
Right, I did have the words to this song typed out. I do know the words. Are you going to join in? I tell you what, it's a test for you, alright? Bit of fun. I wanted to sing this one because it's one of my dad's favourites.
What song is that?
16 Tons. Remember I told you about it? I sang it the other night, but I've actually got I printed off the words because I just make sure I got them right. So I pretty much did. So, good night to everybody. Yes, sorry, I'm going to cut it end to end now. People are dying in droves due to crappy plumbing in the UK. Yeah, this is true. Well, I would say crappy water source rather than plumbing, really. You have to remember, I mean, places like London grew extremely quickly. Industrialisation, they couldn't keep up. People lived quite happily drinking out of streams and things before that, and perfectly safe water. Even today, you don't need to have tap water. But hey. Yeah, okay. Right, thank you, everybody. Okay. So I didn't quite destroy Gibbon yet. I'm just warming up. Next time we come back onto the Romans, I'll be taking apart his book piece by piece. But that's a big job. But I mean, from what I can see of it, what they call primary sources is really stretched. And I tell you another thing, none of his primary sources, like none, go back to old British history or Welsh. My God, the thought of reading anything written in Welsh would have just been an absolute abomination to him. Because the Pax Romana became, of course, what do they call it? Not Pax Britannica, of course it was Pax Britannica. That wasn't this thing going again then, was it? Oh, I can do it quicker this time.
Yep.
So what they called Pax Britannica was British Army romping around the world and gunning down the natives who caused trouble. Alright, anyway, Arnie, I tell you what, Arnie's never played this song, so I am going to sing. So I'm in the mood to sing, alright? And I was singing well this afternoon. My mouth's a bit tired after last hour. See if anyone knows this. Tennessee Ernie Ford, right, 1950s. One of my dad's favourites, and it ties in with mining. Although it's American, it sounds, you know, a universal message. Okay. Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood, skin and bones, a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I haul my soul to the company store. Do, 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 do. I'll have to divide next time. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons, number 9 coal, and the star boss said, well, bless my soul. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I haul my soul to the company store. Boo, 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 boo. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I was raised in the canebrake by an old mama lang. Ain't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You mine a 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I haul my soul to the company store. Ba, 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 ba. Last verse. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't. A lot of men died. I got a one fist of iron, the other of steel, and if the left one don't get you, then the right one will. Ooh, you mine 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I hold my soul to the company store. Boo doo 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 doo. Hey, there you go. See, I bet without him putting me off with his dodgy violin playing. All right, just say a couple of good nights. There we are. Good night to everyone. North Star, Diolch yn fawr, Thicky Stinkers. Oh, I got a good singing. That's a first. There we go. Guitar next week.
So
And I got to do an online. That's my other account. I actually type when you can't see. And I actually got to do an online Zoom thingy bobby next week. Andrew laughed so hard he messed up my typing. North Star, I'll leave the comments on for a few minutes so everyone has a chance to say good night to each other. And I will, hang on, try. How do I make sure I got on the right thing now? Because everything's changed. Because Leon set it up for me. Thank you, Leon, for setting it up. And doing the graphics as well. And he laid the thing out with all the little men on the bottom.
I've been left out.
You're right, Alan. I need to do one of you. You were quite right. I also need to work out now. How do I put this onto... Alright, let's try. See if this works. I don't know if it's going to work. Anyway, from me to everyone, thank you very much again for watching. I'm always amazed how many people turn up every week. And let's keep going. We are going to not only say, but we are going to expand our authentic British history more than it's ever been. So until the next time, hang on a second. We shall expand this business
until it is a profitable.
You do your emperor. I think your emperor's impression's good. Right. Let's turn the microphone off and go to bed, you lot.